Hello everyone. I hope everything's okay. Today is another stream for backtesting. I'm gonna continue backtesting. As if you watched my previous streams, I have talked about backtesting. I have talked about the RBI system and what is RBI. Well, if this is your first stream, let me wrap up for you most of the things we have done in the previous streams. I have explained what is RBI in details and um, there is a lot of things that I explained regarding researching and backtesting. So make sure to watch the first stream if you want to get the RBI system covered, if you want to get how can you get trading strategies and all of this. I'm gonna cover them real quick in this stream. So we are using the RBI system, which stands for research, backtest, and implement. Basically, backtesting the trading strategy is looking at the past of it, looking at what that trading strategy do in the past. Because if it did well in the past, then it's most likely going to work in the future. Because you're gonna create yourself a bot that uses some trading strategy to automate your trading. Of course, you can just go and pick some random trading strategy because it's most likely not gonna work if it's random. You need to study it. You need to know what did it do in the past. Did it win? Did it lose? You need to know all the information about this trading strategy. And how are you going to do this? How would you know? It's basically by backtesting, by getting data and coding the logic of the trading strategy and then backtesting that trading strategy. And then you backtest it using backtesting.py and you look at it. Is this good? What is the win rate? For how many trades is this backtesting? What is the certainty ratio, the Sharpe ratio? All of these things. And you look at it and decide, is this your trading strategy that you're going to create your bot with? If it is, then go ahead. Go for the next step and implement. But the most part that takes time is the backtesting part because it's pretty like time consuming. You're gonna spend a lot of time backtesting. You're not gonna spend 1 or 2 or 3 days. You're gonna spend a lot of time backtesting. A lot. You're gonna get every trading strategy you see right there and backtest it. And by the way, for backtesting, you don't really need to have much of programming knowledge because this is where the AI come and this is where the AI is most useful because in the past you needed to have a lot of programming knowledge to be able to backtest, but now the AI can backtest the strategies for you. Of course, it's not gonna be perfect code, but you can use it if your priority is just to backtest, to automate your trading, and you just want to get this done. But if this is not your purity, you're a programmer, you're someone who's interested in this, I don't advise you to just ask ChatGPT about doing something for you and just copying the code and pasting it and that's it. This is not how you do it. You need to understand. You need to write the code yourself so that it's useful for yourself and your practicing and all of these things. You need to learn. You don't want to just get something done and that's it. And no, you need to learn because this is your career. So this is the difference between you and someone who would just copy paste some code from ChatGPT because they just want to get it done, right? So make sure to get a very good use of ChatGPT, the perfect one. depending on your profile, your interests, all of these, right? So you can use ChatGPT for like listing out the trading strategies that you want to backtest. Maybe you want to backtest 30 trading strategies. So you would be like, um, list out 35 trading strategies that I can, or I don't have to say this, you just list out 35 trading strategies and you go ahead and it's gonna give you a bunch of trading strategies and you can backtest them one by one. A lot of trading strategies. Each one of these, each one of these have its own profile, has its own risk. Like, and of course you're not gonna pick one randomly. So that's a lot of trading strategies. Would you just pick one and yeah, I'm going to uh, create my own bot for this trading strategy and just roll dice it. This is not how it works. You wanna backtest this trading strategy. You wanna know what did it do in the past. You wanna know all the information about it. You want to compare it with another trading strategies so that you can uh, pick one, right? All right. So let's say like let's ask ChatGPT to maybe backtest, please backtest momentum trading strategy for me using Python and backtesting.py. It's telling you that there is a lot of kinds of momentum strategies, and you need to pick one of this. Define the momentum strategy. Which one? We need to define the time frame of measuring momentum, and you need to know a lot of things. You know, implement the strategy. But we will write a code using the backtesting BY library, implementing the buy and the sell logic based on the defined momentum strategy. I will be backtest the 20-day moving average momentum strategy using backtesting.py. Let's see what it has in the post. For this example, let's assume we're backtesting a simple momentum strategy. It's explaining to you. It's fetching some sample data to work on because remember I told you that to backtest a trading strategy you need to have data. You need to have it. Library is not available in my current environment, so I'm unable to execute a backtesting directly. However, I can get you on how you can perform this backtesting in your own system. Alright, so it's telling you that in ChatGPT environment it doesn't have the backtesting.py, but it's telling you how you can do it literally. So this is a very simple backtesting strategy. It quoted the strategy. The strategy is called moving average momentum strategy, right? So it initialized it with calculating the moving average, and then the next function is the function uh, where each time frame gets executed. I mean, if you have in your data is on 1 hour time frame, that means that this next function is going to get executed every 1 hour. Every 1 hour, it checks if there's a crossover between the close and the average EMA that you just initialized, then it will buy. But if it's reversed, then you're going to sell. This is so simple. This is when you're gonna buy, and this is when you're gonna sell. And this is the trading strategy itself. So now you run the backtest, you create a backtest object, and you give it, and this is the power of backtesting.py. And we just installed it, and we imported it. We imported the backtest and the strategy, and we initialized the strategy itself as a class, as a Python class, and then we backtested it using backtesting.py and using the backtest class. So you just give it the class, and you give it the strategy, and you give it the cash and commission, and that's it. And then you run the backtesting, and then it will pretends that it's buying and selling, uh, it's buying and selling, considering when do you buy and when do you sell, and considering the next function, and considering the data that you have put in. So this is so powerful, and you just backtested a trading strategy. Now you have all the data. Let's try this code. Let's copy paste this, and let's see. Moving average MA, moving average, yeah, it was momentum strategy. So moving average momentum, I'm gonna call it. So moving average momentum, I'm gonna paste this here, and I'm gonna clear this. Check where am I? Okay, so I'm gonna run my virtual environment. Alright, so here I have everything that I need installed. I have the backtesting.py and the TLab. If you will ever need it, it's telling you that it's wrapped from the C version that I just downloaded and installed. So to install TLab, you need to have the C library of it. Right, so I have everything installed. Let's try. First, let's check if, yeah, it's running the backtesting and printing the backtesting. Alright, so let's try running it. I'm gonna say MA momentum. Alright, so let's see if it's gonna work. And of course it's not gonna work because there is no data. So it's getting the data from, yeah, it's getting, like, if you see here, when I was backtesting something here, for example, I had to load the data. Okay, I don't know why is it like this. Well, I had to load the data here using pandas. I had to load the data that I just downloaded. You can see here. Hold up. I had to load the data, but here ChatGPT has used a sample data that is inside of backtesting.test. There is a sample data called GOOG. It's just some data that you could see. It's data that is downloaded with the backtesting.py itself. It's data frame of daily NA SDAQ GOOG, which stands for Google and Alphabet stock price data from 2004 to 2013. So that's good. You could also use the test data that backtesting.py provides, but I don't recommend this because, as you saw here, it says that it starts from 2004 until 2013, and this is not good because maybe if it did well in the past, if it did well during that time, it doesn't mean that in the previous years it was doing well, especially that there was a lot of changes financially and a lot of changes in the prices, and like a lot of things changed. So you can't rely on this data. Maybe you could rely on it when we're doing something like this, when I'm just showing you how do I backtest and how to do the backtesting process. But you actually cannot rely on the sample data. So what data do you rely on? I'm gonna tell you. So the data you rely on is the data that you get from Loxy. We also have a bot in our Discord channel that you could just pull the data from there. Um, you will access this bot when you go to the AlgoTrade camp that is provided by MoonDev. You can check the link. I have it in my description. I'm gonna put it in the comment section and I'm gonna pin the comment. This bootcamp is provided by MoonDev. It's gonna teach you how to automate your bot, your how to automate your trading from zero to being like perfect, to having your own trading bot, selling and buying for you automatically. So make sure to check that link. He's gonna teach you 10 lessons, and this is the people comments. The people comments, people who took the bootcamp for you. This is what they think about it. It's pretty good. You will just automate your trading because consistency is everything. But you are a human. You can't be consistent like looking at the graphs every day, every minute. Like it's always hard to trade like this consistently every day, every hour. You're not gonna look at the graphs every hour, and it's very hard to sort through millions of data points, and it's across thousands of symbols. It's too hard for you to find this out and to look at this all the time. So you really need to take it. You really need to take it. We're in 2024. AI is getting over the world, and you here cannot create your own bot that automatically trades for you. You have to do it. It's pretty useful. You're a trader. You're not gonna look at the graphs every day and every 1 hour and checking if you should buy and sell. No, you just create your bot and you sleep. You and your bot sells when an event happens and buys when something happens. It's pretty simple. And you're not doing anything. You just tried hard a bit at first, and that's it. You have your own bot doing everything for you. Everything. So make sure to check that link for your own sake, and and you will get information out of it. So let's get back to our backtesting journey. I was explaining to you how you could make ChatGPT backtest for you, and the more you're gonna understand the trading strategy itself, the more you're gonna be able to adjust this code, optimize it, and do a lot of other things. But you just need to know it. You just need to know what you're doing so that ChatGPT can be good for you. But if you're just here, if you're just here wishing ChatGPT could do everything for you, it's not gonna happen. You need to know what are you doing, right? So this is how you backtest, right? So let's just I want to change this to a real data, not a sample data. So I have my own data that I fetched from Luxy. I have showed you the prompt that you do to fetch the data from Luxy. It's pretty easy. Let me show you the prompt real quick. The prompt is basically, let me show you. The prompt is send me. This is the prompt, and you basically here you replace the currency. So maybe you say send me Bitcoin data since year, maybe 2020, in time frame, maybe 1 day time frame, and that's it. You wait for it to retrieve the data for you, and that's all. You take the data, save it into your machine, and just use it in your backtesting journey, right? So I have my data already because I'm not gonna wait for it because it could take some time. So right, so I'm gonna load my data. Let me load my keep this. Let me load my data. I'm gonna say data is pandas, but it's not imported. Let me import pandas as PD. And data is, I'm gonna take the data. Let me look at it first. Make sure it's, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna copy the path of this data and say pandas the read CSV, read CSV, and I'm gonna put the data path here like this. Right, let me put the data path here and put my escape character. Alright, so data path, and then let me make sure that the datetime field is or datetime column is a datetime type. So you do this by fetching the datetime field and saying equal to the same datetime field, right? It's the same datetime field, but what you do here is instead of just the same thing but convert it to a datetime type. So I'm gonna say bd dot to datetime, and I'm gonna convert it to a datetime and then put it into the same column, right? So uh, I have converted it into a datetime field. Then I need to make sure that the index column is the datetime column. So I do this by saying data dot set index. What are you gonna set the index? I'm gonna set datetime as the index, and I'm gonna in place the changes. That means that I'm gonna put the changes into the same variable. I'm gonna put the changes into the same data frame. If we didn't have this as true, if we didn't have in place as true, this means that we will have to uh, put it into a new variable or load it into a new data frame. So let me show you. If I have this false, and by the way, by default it's false. So if I have it false, I don't even need to write anything. So if I have it false, I would need to, after doing that change, I would need to save it into a new variable. So I would be like new data, and that's it. But instead of this, all I do is just say, yeah, after you do this change, you're gonna in place, you're gonna save it into the same data frame. Right, I have in placed it, and now I need to sort the index and do the same thing as in place equal to true. And that's it. We have loaded our data, we have did some pre-processing. Now we need to give the data instead of the sample data that um, we just imported from backtesting the py the test, right? So let me delete it. That's perfect. So let's try running it now on the real data, not the sample data. Let's see how it works. Name data is not defined. Did I mean? Yeah, I meant data, not date. So name date is not defined. Where did I write date? The oh yeah. Alright, that's perfect. Mm, well, get it on one trade, well, it's fine. I'm gonna take it. I'm just teaching you how to backtest, right? So this is the output of our backtesting. Doesn't seem promising. So you need to backtest more and more and more and more and more. Like you're gonna spend the whole day and night backtesting, 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 backtesting until you find the most perfect trading strategy to make your own bot with, right? This is your goal. Alright, perfect. So let me keep going with backtesting. Now you understood how can you backtest using ChatGPT, right? So I'm gonna keep backtesting. I'm gonna backtest a lot more. I have backtested a lot of trading strategies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have backtested 11 trading strategies. And I'm gonna keep doing it. Okay? So I'm gonna backtest a trading strategy called, let me think about one. Alright, let me backtest a trading strategy called stochastic 7310. Right, so it has some rules. It buys when the 20 EMA is above the 34 EMA, right? And it sells when the reverse happens. Okay, so this is just the trading strategy indicators, like what I'm saying, the EMA. Okay, so let's start by stochastic with maybe with trend.py. Alright, so I'm gonna import what I need. I'm gonna need the backtest and the strategy. So I'm gonna say from backtesting, import backtest and strategy, and I'm gonna need the crossover and the cross. So I'm gonna say from backtesting, import backtesting.lib, import crossover and cross. Alright, so and I'm gonna import tlib, import pandas as pd. Right, so I'm gonna code the trading strategy, stochastic with trend strategy, and it inherits from strategy. Alright, so I'm gonna make the init function. sets up the I'm just setting up the indicators. Alright, so this is the init. The next function is when does it buy and when does it sell. I will have to initialize the stock variable. I'm gonna say takes the stock indicator from TLab with the high of the data and the low of the data, so of the data and the close of the data. Fast K period equal to 7, slow K period equal to 3, period equal to 3, and slow D period equal to 10. Alright, so we have the fast K period, we have the slow K period, and we have the slow D period. Alright, this is my indicator. So I'm gonna initialize the slow D, I'm gonna append right, and the slow K and alright, so that means that it's the last object of the first object, right? So this is the trading strategy logic itself. elib.ema silver data.close and the time period equal to 20, and we're getting the last one of this. Here I'm saying that 34 elib.ema silver data.close with time period, it should be and time period equal to 34, the most recent one. Alright, so when do I buy and when do I sell? I will sell when the length of the EMA 20 is smaller than 2, or length of sell that EMA 34 is smaller than 2. In this case, I will stop here and let me put the other cases. So this is when I'm gonna buy. Right, this is when I'm gonna buy. And this is when I am going to sell. Alright, remember, this is the logic of the trading strategy. You're not gonna understand the logic if you don't understand the trading strategy, which is logical. So you are gonna backtest your own trading strategies. You don't have to backtest the same trading strategies that I'm backtesting. But I'm just giving you the concept. You could get this code from Chat GPT, but of course it's not gonna be matching, but you can code something with a lot of different ways, right? So before backtesting, as I told you, you need to understand the logic of the strategy so that you're able to backtest it properly, right? So that's pretty good. Alright, so let me just make sure that I have all the logic of my trading strategy correct so that our backtesting becomes perfect. Alright, so let me read it quick. Mm, it should be I'm getting the slow D indicator and I'm getting the slow K indicator. Right. So the slow D indicator is the most recent indicator of the second indicator. Right. And the slow K indicator is the most recent one of the first one. Alright. Perfect. And we're getting the EMA, so I should be here saying calculating the indicators or calculating the indicators, yeah. And these are the indicator lists. Right. So I calculated the indicator and I calculated the EMA 20, which is the one we get from TLib, right, which has time period of 20. We get in the most recent one and appending it into the EMA 20. And same goes for the EMA 34, but with a period of 34. Right. And here, if the length of the EMA 20 indicator is smaller than 2, or the length of the EMA 34 indicator is smaller than 2, and if this happens, we're gonna return from the function. We're not gonna do anything. Okay. So, because of course, you don't wanna do anything if you have only like uh, two elements for like if you have less than two elements for for the EMA indicators. Because if you have less than two, then it means that you have only one, right? So this will be all clear when you understand the trading strategy itself. So I think this is pretty fine. This is when I'm gonna sell, and this is when I'm gonna buy. Alright, that seems pretty good. Alright, so now it's time to load the data and run our backtesting. So I'm gonna create an object of the backtest class. I'm gonna say bt equal to backtest. What are you gonna backtest? You're gonna backtest the data, and well, we didn't get the data yet, so I'm gonna say, let me just set this up. I'm gonna say the data with the trading strategy that I just initialized and cash of 10,000, commission of, alright, let me load the data. I'm gonna say pandas.read CSV. Let me get the path of my data. I think I covered it before. Oh no, it's not this. So let me get the path. Let me have this like this. Alright, so I have copied the path of the data. And do my escape character. Alright, so that seems fine. Okay. So now I'm gonna run the backtesting, but before we run the backtesting, we need to ensure several things. We need to ensure that date time column is a date time field. So you say convert the date time to the same column, but as a date time field. Date time. That's good. Okay, that's good. We have converted the date time field to the date time column to a date time field. Okay. So next step is setting it as an index. So I'm gonna set the date time field as an index, and I'm gonna say in place equal to true. Something wrong here? Okay. And I'm gonna sort the index. Also say in place equal to true. I have explained a lot what is in place. In place is basically saving the last instance of the data frame into the same data frame without having to creating another instance or another variable for the data frame, or saving the data frame into a new data frame after doing that change. So in place basically, in place is the change into the same data frame. So if you did something, you don't need to save it into a new data frame. Okay? You don't need to do this because you have in place equal to true. But if you don't have in place equal to true, that means that you will have to saving it into a new variable like this. If I will say in place equal to false, or I will delete it, because if you delete it, that means that it's false by default. So if I delete it like this, I am gonna have to save it into a new variable. I'm gonna say new data frame or new data or new df, whatever. So you save it into a new data frame, and that's it. You have the change into this variable, right? And the previous data frame is not changed. Okay, so to save it into the same data frame, you need to assigning the in place parameter to true. Alright, and same goes for sort index. So I have loaded the data, sorted the index, set the index, converted the datetime field. Now it's time to run the stochastic with trend trading strategy. Let me clear this. I am gonna say py stochastic with trend.py. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to print the changes, and I forgot to run the trading strategy. Alright, so after you create the trading strategy, and then you load the data, now it's time to backtest. I have created the object of the backtesting, but after creating the object, you need to call the run method inside of that object. So you say bt, the object that you just created, run, and it's gonna get run, but it will return the data. Let's look at this run function actually. If you look at it, look what it's telling you. It's telling you that it's going to return something like this. Okay, so this is a lot of details inside of it. Alright, so this is what you're using. So it returns something like this. That means that you need to print this. When it returns this, print it. When you run this, it's gonna return what I showed you. Alright, just take it, print it. Okay. You can also save it into a variable called results, and then just show or print this results. Alright, so let's test out. It ran on one trade, and it was, I mean, it was not inspiring. Let's take it. Alright, we are done with the stochastic with trend trading strategy. The stochastic 7-3-10. Alright, let's backtest the next trading strategy. I am going to backtest a trading strategy called moving average trap trading strategy. Alright, so let's create this file, and let's say moving average trap .py. I will need numpy as well. So let's code the trading strategy. Moving average trap strategy, which inherits from strategy. So I'm gonna do the init function. Remember, the init function is basically the initialization function. Uh, let's say you just created a class and you want something to happen every time you create an object from this class. You want to initialize some variables, you want to initialize some things that you just start with the variable that you would need that is initialized before with a value or whatever. So init gets executed one time once you create an object. Let's say I have created an object, like let's say I have said this equals to ma3 period equal to 3. Once I create an object from this trading strategy or from this class that I just created, like this, let's say mvt equal to, I'm just creating an object, and let's say print mvt dot, I'm gonna say mvt dot ma3 period. Let's see. I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna say py moving average trap py. Let me do it this way. Cannot oh, because it's an abstract class. Let's just do this just like this. Let's see now. The point is, when it inherits from strategy, it becomes an abstract class, which means you cannot create a direct object from this class. An abstract class is a class that is used for another classes. So you create an abstract class uh, to uh, to use it as a parent for another classes, right? So me inheriting from strategy made my class abstract. This is why I couldn't access the variable inside of it. But when I made it, not, by the way, you can do it this way or this way. Right, so let's try. As no attribute, oh, then this way seems to seems to work only with abstract classes. But the correct way of it is to make the init function this way, so it will work this way. Alright, so if it's an abstract class, you do it without the underscore. Okay, so and how does it become an abstract class? You can do it like you will use how's it called, a decorator on the class that will make it an abstract class. Let's ask ChatGPT. How's it called? How to make a class abstract? Because I forgot the decorator name. So let's see. Oh, it's called abstract. I think it's called. It should be. Oh, use the indicator for the methods. But to create an abstract class, you make it inherits from ABC, right? And you need to import it first, like this. So the strategy class does the same thing. It makes this an abstract class. Okay. But the init function itself happens one time. once you create an object, the variables are initialized. That's it about the init function. So let me keep going uh, with creating my trading strategy. Let's delete all of this. So what we do is we initialize the MA3 period and we initialize the MA5 period. And then the MA8 and the MA200. Alright, so I'm gonna say well, this is a function that would pre-process the data, but I wouldn't like to pre-process the data in the class. I'm just gonna pre-process it outside my class. I'm gonna create my next function, which gets executed every time frame, which is gonna be specified in your data. So I'm gonna say next. What happens to the with the next? It gets the data frame. Hold up. Pre-process data. So it will create a data frame with a close that that is uh, that is an array as array of the close of the data. So the data that I'm gonna load, right? So yeah, I think there is something wrong here. Yeah, I need to make it as a dictionary. Alright, that's perfect. So now I think I will need to define a function to pre-process the close data frame that I created from the close of the data that I'm gonna load. So let me create this pre-process data. I'm gonna call it pre-process data, and this is gonna pre-process the data. I'm gonna say the close is gonna be turned into numeric. Alright, so and we will give an errors of alright, so and what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fill all the empty rows. If any clause has an empty row, I'm gonna fill it. So I'm gonna say fill a with a method of fill, and of course I am gonna in place. Alright, that seems good. So after I loaded the data, after I created the data frame of the clause, I'm gonna say MA3 equal to the data df of close dot rolling window equal to MA3 period, and we get in the mean of it. We're doing the same, but for the MA5 and the MA8, and even the MA200. Alright, so I'm gonna call this MA3, MA5, MA8, MA200. Alright, that seems perfect. So I am gonna say if the MA3 getting the location for the last instance is smaller than the location the instance that located in the last index, smaller than the MA8 which is located in the last index, and the MA3 that is located in the last index is greater than the MA200 which is located in the last as the last instance. If this happens, I am gonna buy. So, and what is gonna and when am I gonna sell? I am gonna sell when the same happens, but if this is greater than and this is greater than and this is smaller than. Alright, this is when I am gonna sell. Well, we need to handle closing the position. So it should be else if. I am gonna say if the MA3 which is located in as the last one. Let me copy this. And it's greater than. I am gonna say serve that position dot close. Alright. Also there is some other case that I am gonna close the position, which is gonna be if this is smaller than and this is smaller than and this is smaller than. Alright, this is when I'm gonna sell, this is when I'm gonna buy, and this is when I'm gonna close the positions. And these are basically the exit conditions for both long and short positions. Alright. And we buy when there is a long entry condition. And we sell when there is a short entry condition. Alright. Here I am calculating the moving averages that I'm gonna use. Alright, that's perfect. Now it's time to load the data. I'm gonna say data equal to pandas.read CSV. I am gonna give it the data. Let me copy the path. Alright, so this is my path. Cool. Let me do my pre-processing. I am gonna say, what do I need to check for? Yeah, I need to check for the date field. I'm gonna say data of date equal to pandas.to date time. What are you gonna convert to a date time? I am gonna say the data of date and then put it into the same column. And also I need to set it as set index bd. No, it's data. Let's set index. What am I gonna set index? The date, and I am gonna say in place equal to true. And then I'm gonna sort the index, and I am gonna in place true. Alright, so I also need to ensure that the close is numeric value. I'm gonna say PD thought. I'm just double checking. I'm sure it's numeric anyway, but I'm giving it the errors just the same as I did before. And I'm gonna fill the NA value. Fill NA just as I did it before. So and in place equal to true. Now it's time to backtest. I'm gonna say backtesting equal to backtest. I'm gonna give it the data, give it the trading strategy, moving average trap. I'm gonna give it the cash of 10,000. I'm gonna give it a commission of 2%. And then I'm getting the results of backtesting on, and then I'm printing out the result. Alright. Let me make sure that I have the logic correctly. The logic of the trading strategy, because I wrote it myself. So I need to double check so that we don't have anything wrong in the logic. Alright. That seems fine. Getting the close column as an array, making it into a data frame, and then I'm rolling it using the period, getting the mean of it. Alright. And then I'm saying when the MA3, the most recent one, by the way, I said iLock because this is a data frame here. I made it into a data frame. Okay, so I say iLock, look at the most recent one is smaller than the MA5, which is the most recent one the most stress in the row, smaller than the MA8, and the MA3 is greater than the MA200, and this is gonna be a good opportunity to buy. And if the MA3 is greater than the MA5 and greater than the MA8 and the MA3 is smaller than the MA200, and this is a good opportunity to sell. And this is when I close the positions. Okay, that seems fine. Alright, seems like I'm gonna run it. Let me clear it. Moving average trap. Gonna take some time. It has worked. So 1068 trades, and it has a win rate of 50%, Sharpe ratio and Sortino ratio of 0. Alright, that doesn't seem bad to me. Alright, we have backtested the moving average trap strategy. Let's backtest one more real quick. Alright, let me backtest the most, it's called most trading strategy. Alright, I'm gonna get a file for it. I'm gonna say most.py, and I'm gonna import my pandas as PD. I'm gonna import the backtest. From backtesting, import backtest and strategy, and I'm gonna import the signal strategy and the crossover. So I'm gonna say from backtesting.lib import signal strategy and import crossover. Alright, so I need to define my class. I am gonna call it most strategy, and it's gonna inherit from the signal strategy that I just created. That I just imported from backtesting.lab, and I'm gonna initialize, or I'm gonna create the initialize method itself, and it calculates the most indicator. It's called MOST indicator, right? So I am gonna say self the most equal to get a frame of close rolling that has window of 20 and the mean of this. Alright. So, and this is actually just a placeholder. Here you will need to replace it with the actual most calculation. That is a calculation for the most indicator. You need to look for it and replace it with this line. So I am gonna create the signals based on the crossover. So I'm gonna say self signal long equal to crossover of the close of the data frame and the trending, which is the trend line, and self most is greater than the self most shift of 1. Alright, so I need to calculate the short signal, which is gonna be by the way, I'm initializing these signals, and they will give us true or false, and we are gonna buy or sell depending on them. So I'm gonna calculate the short signal, which is going to be close of data frame. Close of data frame is smaller than the trend line of the data frame. Right, so and the most indicator is smaller than the most indicator but shifted. Alright, so this is the short signal and this is the long signal. So I'm gonna say the next function checks if there is a long signal. So I'm gonna say self.signal signal long any. So this is checking if any values are true. If any values of the signal long is true, this is when I am gonna buy. The same, but if there is a short signal, so we say here is signal short, alright, and checks if any values is true, and this is when I am gonna sell. So next step, I have coded my class, I have coded my trading strategy. Now it's time to backtest it and print out the results. So I'm gonna say pt equal to backtest. I'm gonna give it the data that I just need to load. Let me load the data. I'm gonna say data equal to pandas.read CSV. I'm gonna give it a path of my data. Let me fetch it. So let me copy the path. Alright, I've copied my path. I will put it here, and I'm gonna include the escaping character. I read my data. Now I need to do some pre-processing to the data. What I need to do is I need to make sure that the date column is a date time field. So I am going to say data of date equal to pandas dot to date time, the same column but converted to date time. I converted it to date time and saved it into the same column. And then I need to set it as an index. So I'm going to say data.set index. I'm going to set the date as an index, and I'm going to place the changes into the same data frame. Then I need to sort the index. Place equal to true to save it into the same data frame. Alright, so now Now I need to include the trend line column, and this is unique for this trading strategy. So I'm gonna adding the trend line to the data frame. I need to add it. I'm gonna specify a period of 20 There's some other trading strategies that would uh, need another period, or it's dependent on your trading strategy. So there is a lot of other trading strategies that would need the trend line. So I will say trend line equal to the close itself, the close column, but rolling it with the period and getting the mean of it. And this is also a placeholder. There is another real trend line calculation, but I'm just using a placeholder for now. So now I need to load the data. It's called data, not df. So I need to say data. All right. So now I need to load the data and load my my trading strategy, which is the most called the most strategy, and I'm gonna give it cash of 10,000 and commission of 2%. And then I need to run the trading strategy. I'm gonna say bt.run and then print out these results. Alright, that's perfect. So I need to clear this and then run most.py. df is not defined. I'm sure I called it df somewhere. Yeah, it should be data. And here it's data. Or actually, I could just call it uh, df, which stands for data frame, instead of calling it data. Alright, so here as well. And subported operand types for float and bool. And where is this error? It comes from 36 and it's inside of the net. Let me check what I did wrong here. I'm calculating the most indicator. Which line specifically is this? It's here. So it says that the float could not be converted to bool. Let me read. We are doing a crossover between the close and the trend line. Oh, I need to cross over these two. I forgot the brackets here. The rerun. Oh, then I have additional one here, I think. Yeah. Alright. Let me clear and run. We have another error. I'm sure it's the same error, but somewhere else. Signal short. Yeah, it's the same thing. So I am gonna say this is closed and this is unmatched. Alright, so yeah, it should work. Alright, perfect. It worked. But this trading strategy actually seems to be too bad. I think I have something wrong in the logic. Let me check the logic real quick. If I am doing it totally right, so that we're doing a proper backtesting. Let me read my code real quick. So I'm initializing the most indicator. Let me check something. Alright, let me take this data. I just want to make sure that the logic of the trading strategy is correct, because I think I have something wrong. Alright, I don't think I have anything wrong in the logic. Nope. Okay, so let me take this and put it here. Okay. That seems good. We have backtested a lot of strategies, and we will pick one in the end. Alright, so I think that's enough of trading strategies today. Let me get back to Yup. Okay. So I wanna. Alright, so alright. We are done with backtesting. But before I uh, I end the video, I wanna make sure that you understand what are we doing. So let me give you a brief about all we have done. We are doing something called backtesting. Let's make ChatGPT explain what backtesting is as a sixth grader. You are like you don't know what is backtesting, you don't know anything about it. You just want ChatGPT to explain it, and this is just uh, to show you how you can use ChatGPT. So let's say you don't know what backtesting is. I explained it, you still didn't understand it. Like you're still wondering, what are you doing? I don't get it. So you just go to ChatGPT and be like, "Hi, can you explain to me what backtesting trading strategies is? Consider me a seventh grader." I can explain backtesting trading strategies in a way that's easy to understand. Imagine you have a time machine and you're interested in trading stocks, like buying and selling shares of companies to make money. Now, before you actually start trading with your real money, you want to make sure your trading strategy, which is like a plan or a set of rules you follow to decide when to buy and when to sell. Backtesting is like using your time machine to go back in the past and see how your trading strategy would have performed. You take your strategy and apply it to past data of stock prices to see if it would have made money or not. It's like playing a video game on a level you have already finished to see if a new strategy or a new way of playing the game would have worked well. You look at things like when to buy or sell. Your strategy might say buy a stock when its price goes down a certain amount and sell when it goes up a certain amount. And you put your own risk. You check how risky your strategy would have been. Like, would you have lost a lot of money if things went bad? And the performance over time. You see if your strategy would have made more money compared to just putting your money in a bank or investing in a very common group of stocks like the SP 500. But remember, just because a strategy worked in the past, that doesn't mean it's gonna work in the future. It's like you found a secret shortcut in a video game level that worked once. It might not work the next time if the game changes a bit. So backtesting is really useful, but it's just one tool to help make better decisions. So it's basically telling you how uh, telling you how if you backtest a trading strategy and if you found out that it did very well in the past, that doesn't mean that it's gonna do good in the future. Of course, it has a very high chance of doing good in the future because it worked in the past. It's gonna be so much less risky than a strategy you didn't backtest before, or than a strategy you're just trying it for the first time and just automating your bot and putting and putting real money into it. You need to know what did it do in the past. Did it do well? Did it do bad? What is all of the information we've been getting? What is the Sortino ratio? What is the Kalmar ratio? What is the max drawdown? What is the average drawdown? What is the best trade? What is the worst trade? What is the average trade? What is the profit factor? What is the expectancy? All of these information are going to help you if you should choose this trading strategy for the future or not. All of this information are going to get compared to another trading strategies. And in the end, when we like the next stream, I am going to compare most of the trading strategies that I have backtested and make ChatGPT help me to pick one of them. And it's most likely dependent on your profile, it's most likely dependent on your risk, and it's most likely dependent on how you treat things. So you keep backtesting a lot, you keep looking for trading strategies, you keep listing out many trading strategies, and then in the end you backtest all of them and then choose one to create a bot for yourself. Just create a bot for yourself and it's gonna trade for you using that trading strategy that you have been sure of. You backtest the trading strategy, found out that it did very well during the last 6 years. It's guaranteed to work in the future. Of course, it's not 100% going to work in the future because you can never be sure of something like this. You can never know what is going to happen in the future. But if someone was good in the past, then there is a huge chance that he's going to be good in the future. Of course, it doesn't mean that he's going to be good at the future, but if you have a friend that is so clever at school and so smart, and every year he becomes like he gets a very high grades and he's so good, there is a huge percent that this guy, this friend is going to be successful in the future, but that doesn't mean that he's going to be successful. He can fail. It's not guaranteed, but there is a huge chance. But if you have a friend that is just too bad at and every year he gets a very bad grades every year and he's not doing any well, that then it means that there is a huge chance that he's not gonna be good in the future. And this is backtesting. You see that the trading strategy, you test it in the past on historical data. You give it historical data and see, take this data from the past, what would you have done? You get in a trading strategy and telling it, what would you have done if you were working on this historical data? And then the backtesting.by tells you it would have done this and this and this and this. It would have won blah blah blah, it would have lost, it would have had an average of drawdown, it would have had a win trade-off, and then you're reassured that this trading strategy is good, then there is a very high chance that it's gonna work in the future. So this is what we're doing, backtesting. And after you backtest a lot of trading strategies and finally choose one of them, you take that trading strategy and create your own bot with. You create your own bot and you just do nothing. It's just working on the rules and instructions you have put for. You told it when something happens buy and when something happens sell. And you're just doing nothing. Your bot is running and that's it. You're sleeping, you're eating, you're having fun, and you're winning. Isn't this so interesting? So to learn exactly how to backtest and how to automate your trading and how to create your own bot, visit the AlgoTrade camp that is provided by MoonDev. It's so interesting. I have the link in my description below. Make sure to check it. He's gonna teach you everything from zero. He's gonna teach you all of this. He's gonna teach you what is algorithmic trading, the machine learning in trading, and the algo trading basics, and everything that you're gonna need to create your own bot. So, and then after you take that bootcamp, you are gonna automate your trading, and that's it. And the most uh the most exhausting part of automating your trading is backtesting, because all the time you want to dig deeper and know what are the other trading strategies going to do. Are they going to win? Are they going to do better than the one that I chose? So the more you're curious, the more you're gonna backtest more, the more it's gonna take more time, the more you find better trading strategies, the more you will want to find better than them. So this is the most part that needs time and needs patience, because you're gonna backtest, keep backtesting all the time, right? So make sure to check the bootcamp link that I have in my description, and make sure to try backtesting yourself. Try using ChatGPT to backtest for you. Uh, that's it. I think that's it for today. So thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next stream.